Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I just wanted to answer a few questions that have been put down in the comment section over the last few months, and also a few things that you've requested that I do. Some of these really won't warrant a whole video, so what I thought I'd do is just put them all together in this one, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. I do just want to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to all of you that have been supporting me so far. It's really great to see the channel grow. I mean, I just enjoy putting the videos together. I love playing games, and this is, you know, it's great just to see more and more people making comments. The lovely stuff that some of you write as well is just, it's really nice to read. And yeah, all I can say is I really appreciate it, and hopefully the channel will continue to grow. So let's get straight into this, and the first thing I'm going to address is I get asked a lot of times whether I'm drifting on a wheel or whether it's on a controller. And for all the videos that I do, and when I'm doing the drift setups, I'm setting them up for controllers. I'm using a controller for the drifting side of GT Sport, to be honest with you. I find it a lot easier. I think a lot of you guys find it a lot easier. There's also a lot of content online all revolving around wheels and GT Sport. And I just figured when I started the channel, why not start putting these setups together for controllers, so that all the people that are using them can, you know, hopefully have a build that works for them. That being said though, I do use a wheel when I'm racing online, and also certainly for a lot of the track stuff when I'm just playing on my own. The wheel I use, and again it's a question that keeps coming up, is the Logitech G29. It's only an entry level wheel really, but to be honest with you, if you've not used one before or you're just thinking about getting into it, it's a great place to start. I've been using it for about 3 years now, and it's been perfect for what I use it for. Hopefully in the future I will be able to get something a little bit better, but for now it does the job. Getting back to the controller side of things though, I have had a question from JAR Gaming. They've asked if I can make a video on my controller settings. Like I said as a reply to that, it's not going to be the most interesting of videos, and there's not really enough information to go over to make a whole video out of it. So I figured I'd just put it in today's and just go over it very quickly. As you can see on the screen now, these are the settings I'm using in terms of the controls. Nothing's really changed. I haven't actually adjusted it from when you first get the game. The only thing I will say though, that I found made a huge difference when I was first starting the drifting, was to turn all the vibration functionality off. I found it really just got in the way. It put me off while I was doing it, and by turning that off you can just concentrate on what you're doing, and that's probably the biggest tip I can give you with that. What I will do though as well just now quickly is I'll take you over to the driving options that I use as well while I'm drifting, and I'll explain those a little bit further. So as you can see on the screen now, these are the driving options I use when I'm drifting. There is one thing in here that I change quite frequently actually. It can make a big difference on certain builds. But let's start with the easy stuff. So certainly from a drifting point of view, you want to have it on manual. There are certain cars, the old RX-7 I did a video on, I showed you that you can do that in automatic and it's not a problem. You can set the cars up quite well, to be honest, to work in automatic. I did when I was first sort of learning. But now I find manual, you've just got all the control you need. Certainly if you've got any longer corners, it's so much easier to be able to hold the gear that you want, as opposed to the car suddenly dropping down a gear mid-slide. So I'd recommend going with manual. Tyres obviously will vary depending on the car and how you've set it all up. But the traction control, as with all of the drift setup builds, and I always go through this with each one, traction control set to 0. In terms of the assists, I've got it set custom. Effectively everything's off, but the big bit that does sometimes change here is the counter steer assistance. Now with certain cars it's easier having a weak assistance on, and other cars you want to just turn it off altogether. Never put it on strong obviously, because it just takes away any control you have. However, play around with this, because by having it on weak you might suddenly, you know, go from not being able to do it at all to suddenly being really good at drifting. So that's one of the biggest hints that I can give you, to be honest with you. And with the ABS, just leave it as it is. You don't need to mess around with it. It doesn't really make any difference at all, certainly from a braking side of, you know, the build. You know, if you've got any help there to stop you sliding around at that point, it's not really a big problem, so I'd just leave that on. Hopefully that will help some of you out there if you're struggling a little bit with the drifting side of the game. Another question that I've been asked, or I certainly was asked when I first started out, not so much now, is why I don't upload more frequently. I do actually have a full-time job. I work 6 days a week, and I run a garage. So I'm out in the morning at 5:45, and I don't get home until 7 o'clock in the evening. So it doesn't leave me much free time between that and the family. But what I do is, I play a fair amount of games. I try and record wherever possible, and I always aim to get 2 videos out a week. If there's been a big update or something like that, I try and get a few more out if I can. but I am still time limited. So I do what I can, and that's why some of your requests take a while to actually respond to. But I will get to them as soon as I can, and yeah, hopefully that sort of helps you understand why I might not be uploading every day. And now for the requests. I've had a couple come through that I felt could go into this video. Obviously I still receive drift setup requests, which is great. I can do whole videos on those, no worries at all, and I always try and get them done in a reasonably timely manner. But these two that I'm going to do on this video, they're just small ones. I like both of them, to be honest with you, and yeah, I mean, both of them have sort of slightly taken me out of my comfort zone. I was a little bit concerned with one of them, thinking it might actually be impossible, but I accepted the challenge anyway, and I'll get onto that one in a minute. Now, the first one came from Crazy Driver 2005. Now, it was on the M3 drift setup video that I did that he commented. He asked me, well, he said to me, basically, he'd done his own tune yesterday, and he hit 28,540 points on Suzuka, and asked me how many I had. Now, I don't really use that portion of the game. I don't really do the drift trials, because when I'm recording, I don't want the markers on show. I just think they look a little bit messy in the videos. So it's not something that I ever do. But anyway, I thought I'd give it a go. Now, he used the M3 with his own setup. He took 2 runs to get that score. So I thought that's fair enough. Okay, what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll take 2 runs myself and see how I get on with it. So what you're seeing now is my first run actually round Suzuka, doing a drift trial. I did, to be honest with you, have a little practice on various tracks with the M3 beforehand. Obviously I've been drifting different cars for different setups. I needed to get back into the swings of the M3, which I was never a massive fan of in the first place, down to the gearing. But yeah, this is my first attempt, and I have to say, to be honest with you, Crazy Driver 2005, you were really very positive about me in your comments. I'm no expert at all. I just like playing around with the game, and I have a lot of fun with it. But your score of 28,540 was very respectable, and yeah, for 2 runs out and with your own build setup, I think it's great, and you've done a great job. So keep it up, because it's obviously working out very well for you. I'm just coming around the final corner now, and to be honest with you, the scores couldn't have been closer. I ended up with this run on a score of 29,206, so not even 1,000 points separating us. Like I say, I think you did really well, and I think anything around that score is very good, because you're not making any mistakes. The only way to really improve it is to get more of an extreme angle and at a faster pace. That's the only way you're going to get a higher score. And finally, I had a request. This one came from Blee Rex. I think I'm saying that correctly, but tell me in the comment section if I'm not. But they said, it may sound silly, but I challenge you to drift the Bugatti Vision Gran Turismo Group 1 car. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, when I first saw this, I wasn't sure whether to accept it or not. It was always going to be a challenge, but with most of these cars, I'm tending to find that there is a way to drift pretty much anything in the game, as long as you take the time to sort of learn it. So I figured, yeah, why not? I'll accept that challenge. But I did also say, to cover myself really more than anything else, for every 1 good drift, there's probably going to be 50 smashes. And it did turn out that way, to be honest. It took me a good couple of hours of constantly smacking into walls, trying to learn the car and work out what its biting point is. This thing will just snap back and it will literally kill you in 2 seconds. So it does take a certain amount of patience to get this one going. But in the end, I did manage to get some shots for you, which is what I'm going to show you now. And if you stay right till the end, I got one of probably the best reversed entries I've ever had in any car using this Bugatti. And yeah, I really enjoyed this challenge, and if anyone wants to send any more my way, I'll give them a go. I can't guarantee I'm always going to have great results. But yeah, here we go. Have a look at some of these clips. I'll see you on the next one, and keep those requests coming in.